Just last week, U.S. intelligence analysts had predicted it would likely take several more weeks before Afghanistan's civilian government in Kabul fell to Taliban fighters. In reality, it only took a few short days. Interesting. On Sunday, Taliban militants retook Afghanistan's capital almost 2 decades after they were driven from Kabul by U.S. troops. Although Afghan security forces were well-funded and well-equipped, they put little resistance as Taliban militants seized much of the country following the withdrawal of U.S. troops beginning in early July. That's pretty much the story. Listen, people, this is not a news channel. This is not a news channel. This is a perspective. This is a wisdom channel. We talk about wisdom here. One question I received, and it ties directly into this, and I pretty much already covered what I want to talk about as it relates to their situation and how it relates to the average American and how our lives are lived, in comparison. But it's something we have to address. I'll say this. During a hurricane, there's only one thing that matters. During natural disasters, avalanche, volcanoes, tsunamis, there's only one thing that tends to matter during these major events. It's the only thing that distracts us from the chaos we create on social media. And that's human life. I don't know what the answer is to Afghanistan. I do not know what the answer is. Should we be there? Should we help, maintain their way of life and their government and, obviously, fight against Taliban, what have you? I don't know what the answer is. I don't believe I have the capacity or the potential to answer that question properly with proper context, because obviously what you see on the news, it's filtered. You ever play this hell of a game? You hear something from someone, and then you finally get the watered down version of what the first person thought was the truth. And then the truth exists somewhere else, completely somewhere else. So I don't know what the answer is to the question of whether or not we should be there. We've been there for 20 years. We had a certain intent when we got there. It's been 20 years, we leave and it immediately falls. I'm like, was it worth it? Should we have been there in the first place? A quality question usually leads to more questions. We rarely get answers from this. The news, nobody watches the news and gets answers. You get more questions. The big ones are usually why. And that's where, the discipline of philosophy comes in. The smorgasbord, the adventure, the discovery of the unknown. Why? Families of, who have, family members who are victims to murder or sexual assault or what have you. The big question is always, why? They want closure. Why would you do something? Well, one of my favorite channels to watch on YouTube is True Crime, where the families always want to know, why her? Why him? Well, why would you be, what is wrong with you? Explain, Chris Hansen, explain to me what is going through your mind when, it's interesting. So for those of you who came here looking for answers and one of my specific opinion, you guys know I don't do politics like that. This is far from a political type discussion. This is involving human life. This is involving what we might perceive, to be human rights, issues or, what have you. You can go elsewhere for the specific opinions. This is not where you get that from. I'm here to talk to most of us who live in America, or the small percentages of us who live in a different country, a different region of the world. Wisdom.